you noticed the negativity in the media? Anybody in here notice that? Well, there's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. Newspapers need to sell newspapers, and broadcasting has to get viewers to watch their shows. And negative news sells 10 times faster and easier than positive news. It's like watching a car crash. You know, you can't take your eyes off it. That's good for their business. But it's not good for you. Now, mind you, I'm going to tell you that this doesn't mean that you not be informed. It's important for you to be informed. And what happens is most of us get so glued to it that we get so caught up in it, we are there way beyond getting informed. Now, if you don't believe me when I say that this has an impact on your ability to remain positive and optimistic and looking forward to the future, try this out. One of those mornings when you wake up and you're feeling pretty good, turn on the news. All you need is 5 minutes. See what happens. See if you feel better about your life or worse. It happens that quickly. So go on a media diet. It doesn't mean that you starve yourself. It just means be careful about what you eat. The next thing, next strategy is be grateful. All right, I'm going to be honest with you here. Nobody in here is living in Darfur. Nobody in here is in Haiti right now. Get a grip. Really. This is a room full of well-fed, well-clothed, and well-housed human beings. We have opportunities and capabilities that are beyond what 95% of the world has available. So come on. Stop it already. Be grateful. There is so much for you to be grateful for in your lives. Focus on that, and I will tell you, if you focus there, you're going to start seeing yourself feeling a lot better about your life. Next one I use is what if. Have any of you in here had any clients who have been a little panicked over the last little while? Living in fear, scared to death? So how that happens, and fear is a funny thing. Fear resides in the limbic part of the brain, the emotional part of the brain. And how it continues, it gets into a groove and it stays there and it deepens and deepens, is because it is non-specific. It doesn't have anything specific that it's worrying about. It just gets into this churning of, well, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? Well, what if it does? Name it. Get specific with it and move it out of that emotional part of the brain into the neocortical part of the brain, which is the logical part of the brain, so you can apply strategy. So as soon as you make that shift, as soon as you take it in the out of the generalized non-specific and you make it specific, you can apply strategies. You can get in action. And when people have strategies and they have a path and they have actions that they can take, much of the fear disappears. But here's another thing that happens when you go through this, is that oftentimes those fears are completely unfounded. There's nothing there. It's all smoke. So when you go through the exercise, say, what are you fearful about? What are you worrying about? What if that happened? Then what would you do? Because if there is a real fear, you want to make sure that people are in action doing what they need to do to take care of the situation. But if it's not a fear, you want to get rid of it. So what if? Because there's a different way of communicating. And I believe very, very strongly that passion and the corresponding conviction that comes from passion is one of the most important differentiators that you have available to you in your businesses. It is so important because there is so much blandness out there and no one willing to actually put a stake in the ground that when you are the one doing that, it differentiates you from everybody else. So that is, I believe that passion and conviction is at the core of all powerful communication. And that may be bad news for a number of you because you may have forgotten why you got into this business, right? This is not an easy business. Believe me, I know that there are lots of easier ways to make a living than what all of you do. I have a deep appreciation for what you do. But there's a reason that you got into this business and you may have forgotten it. That fire may have died down a little bit so that it's only just barely an ember. But the importance of this is significant. And I'm going to fly in the face of maybe what you've all been taught before. And that is, I believe that the typical MBA approach to business is incorrect, is invalid, in fact. And I'm going to say that approach is, let's see what my competition is doing. Let's do a bunch of research of what's happening out there, and I'm going to position myself and what I do to try to differentiate myself against that. And I believe that that is incorrect. There's no emotion to that. That's a defensive game. That is you trying to catch up to everybody else all the time. And it doesn't capitalize on what's special about you. When you operate from passion and conviction, what you're doing is going inside of you and finding out what's really special, what's really unique about you, where you have some heat, where you have some juice. And that becomes the promise that you're willing to make to other people. And that is a differentiator. Now, I'm not saying that it's not important to know what's happening in the marketplace and what your competitors are doing. I think that's good intelligence to have. I'm saying don't use that as the basis of what it is that you do in trying to differentiate yourself. What's different about you is you. That's what's different about you. Capturing that